Hello everyone, my name is Adrian Ryan and I'm joined today by my colleague
Matt Poynton. I'm a projects officer with Union Learn. And what are we going to do today, Adrian?
Today, Matt, I'm going to give you a little tour around a website that I've known for many years. Not used it so much in, for my own learning, more to demonstrate to people what's capable of. And it's called Alison.com, as in the lady's name, Alison.
Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to, when I was a project worker a few years ago, I used to signpost a lot of people to Alison, and I did do a couple of courses on it myself. And back then, so we're talking, what, 3-4 years ago, I thought it was like very good and very bad. It was very good for the range of courses, but there were a lot of, I think there were a lot of errors, like spelling mistakes and actual errors in the courses. And also some browsers struggled with it. So that was a massive problem because the browsers that they used in the organization that the union I work for was set in couldn't take Alison courses. So that was in the banking sector. So that was a problem. And also it was, I think it's Irish, but it used American law and stuff. So anything to do with the law was a bit of a problem with. So I'd be interested to see what's changed.
Yeah, I think from what you're saying, Matt. I mean, I experienced some issues like that, and I mean, I think the other issues as well. You do get adverts in during the courses as well, and sometimes actually I think they can work in your favour because you can pause to just let information sink in because there's a lot of information in there. I first used Alison properly for myself was when I joined sort of the TUC many years ago. It's a few years after that we had a database, and I wanted to learn how to do a database on using Microsoft Access. I've used Excel in my old job and played around with Excel, but not to a great extent. But Access was something new to me, and so I went on and done a course so I could understand a little bit more about it, rather than having to keep asking people all the time to help me set up a database, which it did do, and the course did help me. So what I'll do then, I'll just share my screen so you can see Alison.
Okay. Why did you choose to do a course on Alison back then rather than one of the other platforms that we discussed?
I think the main reason why I actually did that was because it was the one platform which actually had the course for free. You could find a lot of courses around IT back then, but you tend to have to pay for them or go to a college to do them. Now, of course, that you can find these courses on lots of different platforms. But the great thing about Alison was it had the different versions. So depending on what year's version you had of Excel Access, PowerPoint, Word, whatever version you had, you could find that version on Alison. Because quite often people had a better version at work than they had at home if they had a Microsoft suite. So you'd find that you were trying to use two different systems. Yeah. And I worked in the civil service, and unfortunately, our training on new systems was not particularly good. So a lot of it was self-taught. I mean, indeed, I remember trying to sign up for a Word course through my employer at the time. It took 2 years to get the course. By the time I'd done it, I got the course I'd self-taught. Right, yeah. So you can imagine, with that experience, I could then look at Alison. So Alison I found, and I thought the range of courses is fantastic. This is what you see when you go into the homepage. Mm-hmm. So you go into the homepage, and you can see straight away at the top, you've got the categories, and you've got course types and courses for jobs. So they're the three headings that you look at. Mm-hmm. You see there on the left-hand side, it's empower yourself. So, and it tells you there's, free online courses, 15 million learners today. Now, it's probably not 15 million people. It's 15 million courses. People who are actually taking part in courses. Because what you'll find is if you start one, you might not finish it. You might go on to the next one, depending on what level it is. So you've got all the different headings. If you click on, what I do like is all the way through the little boxes you can see with the course types, so technology, language, science, the boxes there. If you click on categories again, it brings them up again, so you can see the little logos are consistent throughout. So when I click on that or hover on that, you can see they match. So there's no confusion about, you know, what subject you're looking at. There's two different ways of seeing the subject. So if you get stuck somewhere in the middle of somewhere, you can just go to the top banner and click on that and go back and find and navigate your way back. Sometimes some of the sites that we look at, there's a lot of content and you get lost in the middle of it sometimes in the categories. This I think is quite clear. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to scroll down. You can see some of the trending courses, and then you've got most popular courses, most recent courses. There is so much content on Alison that we won't do it justice in the time we look at today, but what we will do is try and give everyone a flavour of what's there. So very topical, coronavirus, what you need to know. I think by now people have probably had enough of coronavirus and coronavirus courses and having to do statutory work on coronavirus. But I think as we move forward, people might want to understand it a little bit more, you know, especially to see whether they think it's going to come back again or whatever. So that's really good. And then you've got courses. Now, sorry. One thing to look out for with Alison is you get individual courses. Mm-hmm. So you'll get a course there, working with students with special education needs, and that's revised. That says that's revised, right? If you look over on the left-hand side, the second one is a diploma in health courses.
Yeah.
Now, the diploma doesn't mean you'll get the certificate, get a diploma in this. What they've actually done, they've more or less grouped courses together to produce one longer course. So each of these small courses will act as a module.
So where it says, because some of the others say certificate, and you've got diploma. You're telling me certificate is a short course, diploma something a bit bigger, but neither of them are accredited by anyone except Alison, who wants an accreditor anyway.
Like with a lot of sites now, you can get a certificate of participation, which looks great if you want to show people that you've actually been learning, you've been doing something. But in reality, the skills you learn will be far more important that you can actually demonstrate the skill rather than the fact you've done the course. So for me,
pay for the certificate.
You do have to pay for the certificate, and you can get it on like a scroll. You know, so it can be like so it'll be parchment paper as well. I think if you want it really fancy. But again, it's like any of these sites where they are certificates of participation. Now, in theory, what you could do, I remember one time we had the European computer driving license, and in theory, you could actually probably work through most of the modules on Alison, and then go and sit the European computer driving license exam. So you'd only pay for the exam, not the course. That was one way Alison was useful. For now, I think really it's really about that you've got the skills and being able to demonstrate the skills. So if you're looking for a new job or you're looking to change careers, the fact you've gone on to sort of intermediate or expert level in Excel, you'll be able to say that, but ultimately you'll be able to demonstrate it when you actually do the job. Or many jobs now, you have a little short test in the interview, so you'll have some tasks you've got to do. If you say you're proficient in Excel, and then you go to a test and you're not, it'll soon show up. But if you've done the courses, you know, you'll have that skill.
So that leaves a couple of questions. First of all, say I did want to demonstrate to a boss, I've got an appraisal, and my boss has told me to improve with Excel, and so I've done an Excel course. How much would that cost? And is there a huge difference in costs to do with, you know, whether it's a diploma or a certificate?
I'm not totally. What you've got to bear in mind is you pay for the certificate, so you're not necessarily. I think I'm not so sure that the actual course type makes a difference. It's the fact that you've participated in that course. So in theory, you could do 7 modules of a diploma, and you may have to pay for the certificate 7 times, or you can do the diploma and you may just pay once. I'm not totally sure about it. I've never paid for a certificate, and I wouldn't, because I don't think it's value for money, firstly. And secondly, I tend to use these sites to learn stuff I want to learn, and then the skill gained is more important than the course you've actually taken, and to prove you've done the course. You can prove you've done the course by doing this, using your skill. So when you see a diploma, so you'll see all sorts of courses here. So you've got a diploma in Japanese language, one which I know would interest you, Matt.
Yeah. Shall we have a look at it?
Yes, we can have a look at. If I just click over to here and log into my learning. Now I must apologise. As I say, I don't do many of the courses. I've done courses in the past, but some of the courses you'll see I've signed up to demonstrate to Union Learning Reps at forums, because simply it's the quickest way to show someone what the course is like what we're doing today. So you will see when you sign up. Let's just go back to the home, because I clicked on learning paths, because there are learning paths on here as well, which are a collection of courses like the diploma, but they'll be in a key subject area. So this is what it looks like when you sign in. You've got your dashboard, and you can see you've got medal collection. Very much gamification again, Matt, trying to get you to compete.
Like Duolingo, isn't it?
Very much like Duolingo. And then you get medals. Now you can see I've not really done too much learning on here for a while, and I haven't, because I use Future Learn, I use other sites as well. So there are courses I want to do on here, but it's in my list. We've both got lists of courses we love to do. Alison's not top of the list at the moment. However, as I move forward, there's a lot of the IT stuff I really think I should do. So that's what
your 3 bronze medals, they are for doing a single day learning. So it's in learning streaks, which is what Duolingo does, doesn't it? They encourage you to do streaks of learning. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great thing. You know, that if you're interested, if that's the sort of thing that wants to help you set goals and reminders and progress, you know, that's fine. A lot of these courses I just like to learn at my own pace. And it depends on you. It depends on an individual. When you look at, I'll just take you around the dashboard very quickly. I want to show you some learning, really. So we'll go to that Japanese one in a sec.
I am quite interested in this, because this wasn't there before. So if you haven't been on Alison for a while, this is new. Yeah.
So you've got your course categories again, and like I said earlier, when you click them down, you see all the different little logos for each course type. Again, course types, this is great as well. You've got your courses. You can click into the course you signed up for, certificate courses, diploma courses, and learning paths, which is newer. You've got courses for jobs as well, which is different. So careers and skills guidance, and find courses for specific jobs. And then you've got your shop, where you can buy your certification, and you can go premium as well. So you've got the option of paying to actually you remove adverts and things like that. Down the left hand side, you've got my name. I haven't got a picture there. That picture's probably better than the picture would be of me. So when you look down, you've got quick links, continue learning, learn a record, learn a report, and then you've got different settings, your account settings. So if at any point you want to see where your learning is, you can scroll down. You can either click on continue learning to go to a specific course. You click on your course, and then you've got your learning record. But underneath, you can see the courses that I've signed up for. So it's quite a lot of them. The latest one I signed up for was 109 days ago, and I've not really looked at it. And to be honest with you, a lot of these I've looked at in the past, and I've actually done the courses previously, certainly the photography one. But then I've gone back when and reset, because I've had more than one account now, some with different email addresses. So one I demonstrated and one for learning. This really was my work one, so it's demonstrated. It's demonstrating. I've got a personal email one which has got more learning on it. But these are the types of courses that people were interested in when I've shown them. So you can see nutritional health, diploma in journalism, great for social media and for running social media campaigns and being active on all the social media platforms. IT management. So they're the courses, and you can see the progress. It tells you your last active. So you can, if you're doing more than one course, you just click on the course to continue learning, and it'll take you back to where you were. Let's just go back and find that diploma. So if I go to course types, I could go and look for the Japanese in course categories. But I'm going to look, because we know it's a diploma course, don't we? So we're going to search. So again, once again, you've got all your little icons, so you get used to them. And just a couple of diploma courses out there. So you've got diploma in project management. Again, really useful information in there around project management, if that's somewhere you want to go. Quality management, human resources. There's also law ones, a lot of law in here. diploma in
I've got a question about the law one, because as I alluded to at the beginning, when I looked on before, all the legal stuff was using American law, which is obviously doesn't apply in the UK. And so if you did a course on property law and then you think you know what property law is, and you don't, because you're dealing with a different country's legal system. Is that still the case, or have they got options for UK law now?
Right. Well, what I'll do, we'll click into a law one. Mm-hmm. So this is the diploma in legal studies. So I'll start the course and we can have a look at it and see exactly what you do. Right. So this is what you'll see. You'll see a very quick ad, and to remove ads, you pay for premium. As we said, you will see ads during the course. So it tells you learning outcomes. So the first one. So if I start topic,
yeah,
and we can see what it looks like. So again,
that's not the problem. Is if you weren't aware, you wouldn't know what country's legal system that is.
Yeah, and I think it's probably quite generic when you look at it, rather than specific to, if you take copyright law. It varies. Patent law. If you take family law, it does vary depending on the country you're in. But some of the underpinning principles are the same. It's just the interpretation of the law and the actual law, how the law is written as well. So it can be. Yeah. You know, I think when you're looking at this, you do need to sort of assess what you're learning. You know, what you're learning for, and when you have got law courses, because of that issue, it can be a bit of it can be tricky. But certainly, when you're looking at the IT courses, they're very much the platform designed to the platform you're learning on. So let's just click through this quickly and see where we go. So. Oh, end of topic. All right, okay. Next. Yeah, because that's the end of the introduction. That's telling you what you're going to learn. And then you've got a presentation. So you can see the ad. It's only 3 or 4 seconds. Gives you time to get ready. So you start the topic, and then it gives you the characteristics of effective law. And then you literally just go through the course. It looks a pretty dry one. It's very much you know, it's law. So you know it's fairly
yeah,
it's fairly text heavy.
Be careful about where you are in the world when you're doing this. And, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if we
our legal systems can be very different. So okay, but that's interesting. Okay.
Let's have a look at language, because we were going to look at the Japanese one. You were very keen on the Japanese one. So again, when you look to improve your language skills, so we'll look. So there you go straight away. Again, these are the languages you can do on here, and you mentioned Irish. Well, I can do Gaelic on there. So when you look here, so you've got introduction to Arabic. Sorry, you've got English for tourism, hotel reception, front desk providers. Again, that is a course that that is transferable. So start topic, and again, this looks wordy. You know, so identify 3 Japanese scripts and describe how each is used. You know, if this is what you want to do, properly pronounce Japanese vowel sounds.
Can we go on one of those? Are there many like videos or interactive elements like you would get on Coursera or FutureLearn, for example?
I think it depends on the course. So here we go. Now you can see down the left-hand side the module and the different learning outcomes for it.
Yeah.
So we click on Introduction to Scripts.
See what that's like.
Just wait for the advert, 5 seconds.
A lot of adverts, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I think it's because of the nature of this course as well. I think they squeeze more in. So it starts off. So there you go. There's the video. Now I'll play it, but we just be careful. The sound doesn't always come out.
So, well, there are 3 scripts in the language. We have as you can see over here, we have hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So these are the three scripts. The hiragana and the katakana are called the kana scripts in Japanese, and kanji is the ideograms and the pictograms. We will discuss kanji, of course, in detail later as well, but first we should talk about hiragana and katakana. Now it's interesting that till the 4th century AD, the Japanese did not have a script.
So you can see, Matt, it is a video. It's not as dry as the law one, and that course you will go through, and you'll learn everything that you need to learn for that. It gives you it.
That's quite
Sorry.
interesting in that, like FutureLearn and Coursera, they seem to be having outside institutions that have contributed. I mean, that looks like it's some university in India that's done it. And I guess that begs the question, would you say the quality is consistent across Alison courses?
I think again, it probably isn't 100% consistent because there's so much content and there's so many specialist areas. But I think, like FutureLearn, they've got someone and they're using people who are actually how can you put it? They're using top sort of universities in their field, I suppose, who they partner with. That's probably about the best way to describe it. I think I think what we'll do, we'll have a look at an IT course, because I think the IT courses are probably an area where people would really, really like to learn. And when you see the difference of number of IT courses, there are masses. And again, it depends.
I asked that question while you get the IT course up, and I'll let you choose which one you want. But because when I was doing them a few years ago, to be honest, I didn't think the quality was consistent, and there were errors in some of them. And I suppose also, going back to my experience from a few years ago, do you know of people who have browser issues with Alison today? Or
no,
does that seem to have been ironed out?
I think that seems to have been ironed out. I think when you look at the IT courses, you know, I think we'll see the sort of a slightly different version compared to the two that we've just looked at. The law is very wordy. I think the Japanese one will be a lot of video, and it's bound to have a lot of video in there. And then when we have a look at these, I mean, straight away, there's one that springs up straight away when you click in IT, which is Zoom, Guide to Zoom Conferencing.
Well, we're on Zoom now, so
we're on Zoom now, yeah. We might learn something if we do that, Matt. We might learn how to Zoom properly.
Certificate. So this would be a shorter one, yeah?
Yeah, it's a shorter course. So if we go into the IT, then when you scroll down, you'll see Excel Essentials. Again, in IT, you have little logos. So they like the little logos, which is good because it means you can find where the courses that we're heading. So you've got network and security hardware, game development. That's an interesting one for people. People might like to get into game development and app development. Mobile apps is there as well. Data science, databases, and the core IT skills, which are going to be, we'll click on it and you can see. So core IT skills, again, when you scroll down here, Alison Basic IT Computer Suite, which takes you through using computers and what different applications and opening and closing browsers and things like that. And then when you go down again, you've got digital literacy.
If you go up, it's quite interesting. I'm looking at this here, and you've got your Microsoft Digital Literacy Productivity Program, but you've also got an Arabic version. So if English isn't your first language, there are, I mean, they're really going for the international market, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. So you'll find Arabic versions of most of the courses right throughout.
Version here, yeah.
So you'll see that all the way through. And there's a of the internet, World Wide Web.
Yeah.
So you can see the difference of different courses there. I think what we'll do very quickly is we'll find a course. Let's just go back and see. Click back once, back to where we were.
I suppose looking at those different languages, I'm looking at your little logo up in the corner, and it says EN. So you do have to select what your
your
language kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can click in there. You've got reminders as well. You can also put study reminders on this as well. So if you want to learn, if you're doing a course and you think I need to be reminded on Tuesday night, I want to do my hours, Alison, then you can set your reminder and it'll ping a reminder up on screen to say that you need to do it. So when we look at the courses in here, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a quick look at the Zoom conferencing one because it is appropriate for us. And then, so sign up, and so you can see the different courses there. So different modules in the course. So schedule, and they're very useful. So joining a meeting, it's very straightforward normally. You know, you'll get a link, you'll click, and it'll open and take you through. But the schedule of the meeting, schedule of a webinar, I mean, they're the ones that people are going to be using more than anything at the moment. And also scheduling a meeting through Outlook, because we use Outlook a lot of the time as well. So you can see the courses, and again, if I click on join a meeting, we don't need to just sign up and download, because, you know, if you want to do the course, you want to find out, then that's fine. You have to wait your 5 seconds for the start, which can probably get a bit annoying if you're learning. So again, look in this. So again, it'll be a video. The video is only 1 minute and 9 seconds long. And it explains to you how to join a Zoom meeting via email invitation or via your schedule in the Zoom software. So useful stuff. What I want to show you is, we go back, I want to show you something like Excel, just so you can see the quality there. You can see how that works. And then I want to, so if we start Excel, Microsoft Excel Essentials, and it takes you, these are basics really. So you can start your topic and it'll explain your outcomes again, what you expect to get out of the module, which is always good, because when it says what you expect to get out of the module, at the end of the module, if you should be getting that out of it, and if you're not, then you may need to refresh and go back over. There are adverts all the way down to, it can be tricky, Alison, where you see something, you click it as an advert. So just beware that, you know, stick to the buttons that you see. So the start, next topic, you know, you can't, as I say, you can pay to remove the ads, but for me, I don't think it's that important, that annoying. So creating and saving a workbook, here's our first video, and it takes you literally from the very start.
Welcome back to my course on Excel 2016. As I mentioned before, I'm actually using Windows 10 here. And before we start to create a workbook, and before we actually start working Excel, I'm going to pin Excel to the Windows 10 taskbar.
Right. So you get, so straight away you get a feel. So he's explaining to you straight away how, something that he's showing you how to pin it to the taskbar, so you don't have to keep going into your menu to find it if you're going back to your learning. And as you can see, it's not
really good from a basics point of view. And what I could say, you know, if you are somebody who perhaps you've been tasked by your boss to find out more about these, you don't want to pay the certificate. What certain unions could do is, if you could prove to your union learning rep that you've finished the course, so maybe take a screenshot of you've completed the course, the union could do your certificate, couldn't they? And that could also help promote.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, what I want to show you now, because we're coming towards the end of, you know, what we can show you and explain to you about the site without going into too much content and too many courses. This is what you will find if you do a search. So I've just done a search for Excel, and it brings up all the courses. So it tells you again, certificate business. You will see some ads, so download free marketing ebook on there, the essentials. And then this is where it gets interesting for me. You got Microsoft Excel 2013.
Yeah.
As well. Let's scroll down. And then you got Microsoft Excel 2010. So if you're using an older version.
Yeah.
And so you can, so that's what I said earlier about older versions of courses. I mean, there are all sorts of different courses on it. I mean, if I go to this lifestyle's different.
Mhm.
And these are some of the lifestyle courses you get. So you've got, you know, for food safety. The digital photography is very good. I've done the digital photography before. Really good course. Lots of good stuff around lighting, you know, framing your picture, making sure, you know, everything else. There's a diploma in dog grooming. Very apt during lockdown when the dog groomers aren't open. You can trim your own dog.
Okay. So, I mean,
Makeup. There's such a broad thing. Music theory, makeup artistry. You know, these courses, advanced digital photography, which is something that I've not. I mean, I can't remember if that's in the diploma. Forms part of the diploma because they said they pull courses together.
yeah.
So that should be in the diploma. It was a while ago since I done. Introduction to plumbing.
Intermediate one there. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I looked at it a few years ago, what I always said, because I'm not the biggest fan of this site. I wasn't then, although to be fair, they do seem to sort it out some of their issues, and it does seem a lot better than it was. But I said, like, you know, try. My advice when I worked as a project worker was try the other sites. If they don't have what you're after, go on Alison because they've got such a vast range. They will have something, but just be a bit aware of the deficiencies. Now, would you say that advice is still relevant, or it should be changed?
I think with any of the sites that we've reviewed, it depends on the subject matter. So for IT courses, I think I would always go to Alison first call because they use the different years versions, and not just that. They take you from very start right through. You can actually build up your skills levels going through from beginner to intermediate to, you know, advanced expert. So I think that's key. For some of the other stuff, you're probably going to find other sites that have got some really good courses that are better without the adverts and the. For me, when I look at the site when you're doing a bit of learning, I think it's cluttered.
Yeah.
I think there's too much there. They've got ads here. You can click on something by mistake. Having said that, I think the actual content of the courses are really good, and there's courses here you wouldn't find in anywhere else. I'm not sure you would find an introduction to plumbing, pipes, and fixtures
That was the one
on another site. You know what I mean? I'm just struggling to. FutureLearn don't do it. I don't think Duolingo do it. I don't think Coursera do it. And I really, you know, I think that's why these type of courses, it's a lot of theory, but why not? If it's something that, you know, for me, if it was introduction to construction methods and carpentry, if I was doing something that involved, I needed to do something, I wasn't 100% sure, I'd probably look on YouTube.
Right. Well, that's really interesting. Yeah. So I suppose the thing is, particularly if you're into IT, go for it. If you can't find what you're after somewhere else, have a look what it is. But yeah, be aware that there's the clutter, there's the adverts, and that sometimes the quality isn't there, although sometimes it is. Okay, well, thank you very much for that one. Yeah, another interesting site, well worth looking at. And we'll be back again later, trying out more sites.
Will do.
Okay, see you.
Bye.